Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day to start things off. Intercontinental Exchange's Bitcoin futures trading platform known as Bakkt expressed interest in adding cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin in a Q&A on Twitter on Friday. Since Bakkt was questioned repeatedly by the community about the addition of other cryptocurrencies to its platform, Bakkt replied, and I do quote, "We'll consider additional contracts as the landscape evolves and as we receive additional customer feedback about what they want and what they need," end quote. The comments for this post on Twitter were, of course, flooded mostly by supporters of XRP. A well-known Twitter user among the XRP and Ripple community, his name is Dr. T, never heard of him, tweeted a poll and hinting the listing of XRP, to which more than 6,300 people voted in agreement. The tweet pretty much said, should Bakkt add XRP? Yes or no, but yes. It says this was a couple days ago and it was over 6,300 people. Someone else said, XRP is like future money, the standard, the revolution, a way of life. Thanks, kind sirs. That's also a really weird quote. On top of this as well, Justin Sun, the founder and CEO of TRON Foundation, retweeted Bakkt's post, saying that TRON would be the best choice if Bakkt ever decides to add more currencies to its platform. That's pretty much what the quote says right there. On Thursday, Misha Lederman, a TRON enthusiast, tweeted a copy of the letter sent from the TRON community to Bakkt in response to their tweet. The letter made the case for TRON to be considered in listing as the next asset on Bakkt. Although Bakkt's tweet about adding other assets other than Bitcoin has spurred the crypto community, it's not expected to happen anytime soon, as Bakkt recently postponed the launch date of the Bitcoin futures trading from the 12th of December to the 24th of January. But I am talking about this because I thought it was incredibly interesting. For those who have been on Twitter, I don't use Twitter that much. I post my videos on there and I comment. I now message people, talk to people sometimes on Twitter. If you've ever or have been a part of the XRP community, they are a fierce, loyal bunch. They are very down for the cause. And it's something that I didn't expect a couple of months ago. The TRON people are almost exactly the same. The people who are into TRON believe that TRON could be like the coin to revolutionize the world, and that's not me even overstating that. There was a poll or something that Justin Sun had a couple of months ago, and he was asking people like what they wanted, and people were like, they wanted something called like Utron, they wanted like Tronflix, like all these things that they the point is, whether I think XRP or TRON is going to be added to Bakkt anytime soon is a very strong, long stretch. I can definitely see at some point, I'm more than certain that the people from Bakkt are definitely looking into adding Ethereum. Once the SEC decides to get it together and gives proper clarification on XRP, I think that's also a very big thing, especially when you look at the, if you dig beneath the surface and you see exactly who the Ripple team is actually partnered with, and I think everyone's just waiting for clarification. TRON might be a bit more of a stretch, but if when it comes down to people who really love their cryptocurrencies, I don't see any more loyal people than the people who like XRP and the people who like TRON. Thought it was quite interesting. That's why I added it into the video. But yeah, let's move on. So next up, there's a bit of a spat, and I'll try to swing through this a little quick. There was something that happened between recently Corey Johnson, who's the chief market strategist at Ripple. He said something about what he thought about the Stellar Lumens platform. For those who don't know, there is not a... It's not friendly when it comes to the Ripple team and the Stellar Lumens team. It's just that it's kind of like a digital war where everyone has kind of chosen a side. There are obviously people who are investing in these coins who have decided to invest in both. Perfectly fine. Please do as you will. Just letting you know that there is a very clear line in the middle of between both of these projects. More recently, there has been talk of Mr. McCaleb, who is the guy from Stellar, dumping XRP tokens onto the market in order to drive the price down further. This brought about the question as to whether Mr. McCaleb was functioning within the terms set by Ripple when they acted against him in a series of lawsuits, as clarified by the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz. He said, Jed had a long string of bad ideas that Ripple's board of directors refused to implement. So Jed started Stellar based on those ideas. He tried to dump his XRP quickly, and Ripple acted to stop him through a series of lawsuits, end quote. When he decided to leave the company, a settlement was reached between McCaleb and Ripple, wherein he had to sell all the shares of his company he held. In return, he will slowly sell off the XRP owned by him and his children, as opposed to dumping it all on the market at once. McCaleb then proceeded to badmouth Ripple in future instances, with one example presenting himself in an interview with CNBC, wherein he stated, and I do quote, "It's very hard to run nodes outside of Ripple Labs. The team is running the majority of the nodes, which should be concerning for people," end quote. Corey Johnson spoke about Stellar, stating that it was created by one of the founders of Ripple and one of the creators of XRP. He said, "I don't really have an opinion about it. I mean, you know, obviously a super smart guy, but in order to build a really big business that uses the digital assets as a challenge, there are a lot of companies developing on XRP. I don't know many developing on Lumens other than Stellar," end quote. This is a spat that's been going around for quite some time. I don't think we're, okay. I was going to say, I don't think we'll see an end to this. I think there will be a very clear winner in, let's say, 12 to 18 months. But it's really, I find it interesting how you may not have noticed it. I've definitely noticed it, that there's definitely been a bit of a shift in how cryptocurrency companies are kind of talking to each other. I told you in 2017, there was a very like euphoric way that everyone was trying to go about the cryptocurrency space. And, you know, it was very harmonious. But as time has gone on, I think a lot of the people who are into cryptocurrencies, who are creating these projects, have definitely not showing their true colors. But I think everyone is getting a little nervous. Like I said before, don't be mistaken. There are potentially hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars on the line. So everyone is making sure that they kind of make sure that they have their say before the next bull run actually ends up going up. But from everything that I've heard about, first of all, I don't know any of these people. About McCaleb, it has not been very nice things. Even on like a lot of like podcasts and stuff like that, he's tried to work on a lot of other cryptocurrency projects as well. And my opinion from what I've heard from other people, allegedly, is that he's not the nicest person. He has a bit of a, not a mean streak, but he thinks he's correct, and he usually ends up not being correct. He creates his own cryptocurrency projects and then expects them to do well by kind of bad-mouthing other people. Not going to spend too much time on this, but I do think it's interesting how the opinion of CEOs and other people in the cryptocurrency space, like everyone's kind of talking about everyone. Like we had a period where this never happened before. We have the people from Ripple talking about Lumens. We have the people from Ethereum talking about EOS. The people from EOS talking about Tron and Ethereum. A lot of the Bitcoin developers or Bitcoin maximalists talking down about like Tron and other projects. And like it seems like everyone is acting normal now, if that kind of makes a bit more sense. Like they're acting like normal people, where people kind of talk crap about other people, because before none of this was kind of happening. Anyway, let's move on from the, I guess, the controversy side of the cryptocurrency space. Yeah. Next up, here's one that is quite interesting. The government of Paraguay and the Blockchain Technology Foundation, Commons Foundation, recently signed an agreement that will serve as a basis for the construction of the world's largest mining farm in a concentrated effort to position the country as a reference in terms of technological innovation. According to a press release from the Commons Foundation, the project, known as the Golden Goose Project, of course, why not, will be implemented in Ciudad del Este, one of the country's main cities, known especially for its tourism industry and commercial development. The contract established that the Paraguayan government will provide a concession for the use of a plot of land of approximately 50 square kilometers located near Itaipu hydroelectric power plant, the world's largest clean energy plant, with a stable price of electricity for a period of 15 years in all facilities in the field of telecommunications. Choi Yong-kwang, chairman of the Commons Foundation, was quite optimistic about the agreement, stressing that not only is the economic factor essential, but that they were looking for an eco-friendly alternative. He said only 10 to 20% of electricity is produced at Itaipu hydroelectricity plant and consumed in Paraguay. More than 80% of its electricity is exported overseas. We will build the world's largest mining center in Paraguay using low-cost and abundant clean energy. It is important to note that the Blockchain Technology Foundation, Commons Foundation, plans to conduct a series of pre-sales and an IEO, initial exchange offering under Paraguayan laws to fund the project. Funding mechanisms will be through micro Bitcoin, Bitcoin and Ethereum. This ties into what I was saying many times before, and I'm so glad that we're finally getting news about this. It was like talking to a wall almost. Not that I'm talking to you is talking to a wall. It's like I say things and I know that they're already true, but there's just no like concrete evidence that drives me crazy. The fact that I've thought for a very long time that a lot of other countries in particular, not even cities or corporations or companies, governments getting into cryptocurrency mining, and we finally are starting to receive a large amount of news about this. There was something a couple of weeks ago about another major company who's trying to move into the U.S., but it was very skimmish on exactly what was going on with the exact specifics of it. The fact that the Paraguayan government is endorsing the world's largest Bitcoin mining farm, and to think that the government would be endorsing something like this and not have a toe in the pool, i.e. that they are not either providing funding for this to be able to receive the cryptocurrencies back themselves, or that they have not bought a huge portion of this mining farm that they are trying to do in general, and therefore will be receiving a complete cut of it, every, maybe 5, 10, 15% of all the cryptocurrencies that are going to be mined there. I don't know the specifics of exactly, like what says Bitcoin mining farm. Usually, typically when people end up building Bitcoin mining farms, Ethereum usually has like a little corner where they also mine Ethereum. I wonder how many other countries are also doing. I mean, realistically, the way that I see it, and this is just kind of my how I view the world, Paraguay is a very well-known country, but they may not be the most economically powerful in the entire world. Paraguay, I can only assume, and many other countries as well, if we have more news about them getting into the cryptocurrency space, it is typically because, in my eyes, there has been a larger, potentially more economically powerful country who has already gotten into it, and therefore they've been looking into it for quite some time in order to be able to get into it to themselves. This all leads us once again to the, I mean, if you need any reassurance that crypto is going to make it in some sort of way, this is probably it. The idea that, first of all, the world's largest Bitcoin mining farm is already completely staggering. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, we had the news that someone, I can't remember the exact size of it because it was just ridiculous. Someone bought an enormous amount of land in Nevada. If you type in on Google, go to type in Nevada Bitcoin mining, largest land, some combination of those words. Someone bought a gigantic amount of Nevada. I'm pretty sure it's Nevada, and they are going to build an extremely large cryptocurrency mining farm there. And I think it's supposed to be like a blockchain city that they're actually trying to build. We are witnessing future right now. You will look back on these moments and be like, that was absolutely insane that I was actually there for that. I still am waiting for clarification, at least me, that the U.S. government is doing this. I'm certain at this point that they're mining Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, or that they've been buying up coins. I would also not be, let's say, I'm going to give it a year and a half. I don't think we'll have information about this in 2019, maybe in 2020, that the International Monetary Fund has been buying up and or collecting cryptocurrencies as well. That is going to be, I think, the biggest shift that we're going to have. Countries are extremely important. Obviously, don't get me wrong. But when the people who make economic policies, when we find out, or when they decide to tell us in some way that they have been buying up cryptocurrencies the last couple of years as a stabilization fund or something like that, that's where I think it's really going to get absolutely insane. Anyway, let's not spend too much time on this. Let us move on. Next up, crypto startup known as Paxos is partnering with payments firm BitPay to allow the latter's merchants to utilize the Paxos standard stablecoin in settling transactions. Announced on Tuesday, the move will give BitPay clients the ability to conduct transactions using a cryptocurrency while maintaining the trust and stability of the US dollar. According to press statements, BitPay's overseas clients in particular will be able to benefit from settling transactions via the stablecoin. BitPay already allows consumers to use Bitcoin, and now the former Bitcoin Cash, to process transactions in a statement. In a statement, co-founder and CEO Stephen Payer noted that adding Pax token would further enable low-cost transaction settlements. Paxos Vice President of Marketing and Communications, her name is Dorothy Chang, told Coinbase that the company anticipated crypto traders being the first and primary users of the stablecoin. Two things, and this is exactly what we were talking about a week and a half ago, and when I was talking about why there were so many different stablecoins and how I thought it would be really interesting if we ended up having a situation where I personally believe that the reason that we have so many of these stablecoins, in my opinion, is that I think a lot of them are trying to gun for the number one position. And I don't mean taking over Bitcoin. I mean being the stable coin that people go to that is tied to the US dollar. And this kind of reiterates exactly what I was saying before. It's now, we have Paxos, True USD, and Gust, that is the Gemini US dollar. These three are fighting it out to try and be integrated into as many things as possible. BitPay is very popular. And the fact that they have added Paxos, and as of yet, not the other cryptocurrencies, tells me that there is some type of an internal war that's definitely going on that maybe a lot of people just aren't paying attention to. And I can definitely see a situation in a couple of years, and this is just kind of how I feel about it, because governments have, you know, they're kind of lackadaisical, is that the word, where they're taking their time when it comes to making their own central bank digital currency, especially as a lot of them, a lot of the other, what's it called? A lot of other governments have come out openly saying that they don't think that other countries should be able to, or rather, not that they shouldn't be able to, that they should not make their own digital currency because it may have damaging effects on the other currencies around the world. I.e., in the way that I've also read about it as well, is that if a country decides to do this and they have more control over the exact flow and outflow and inflow of all the money that they have going into the country, you have a very specific way of being able to inflate your coin. And if you see that other people, or rather other countries around the world, are inflating their currencies by anywhere from 1 to 3% per year, and you decide to do a 0.15% inflation rate because you can do that automatically through the computer as opposed to having to go to a printing press and blah, 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 so and so and so, you can then make your currency stronger in comparison to other ones. And there's already a fear that other countries are going to do this against the US dollar. This is why I think there's been a bit of a pushback. Point is, all these stable coins, I think, we are going to get some type of a news eventually. When the craziest part will be if we get news about Paxos, TrueUSD, or Gust being able to be used in some type of like governmental capacity. Like if you can pay for this, or if you can do that, or if you can so and so, or you can like something legal within the country. That'll be a clear indication to me that governments are trying to or will be using stable coins as a digital fiat currency type replacement. I can definitely see a world where they will be around. Do I want them around? Not so much. But I think we're at this point in the cryptocurrency space where this is another thing that leverages adoption. If people get more used to using cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, I think eventually the idea of them switching over to using using Litecoin or Ethereum as a form of payment will be a bit more easier. This is kind of, I always look for the silver lining. I'm not really, I don't think we need 39 stable coins. They're here. They're going to stay for a while. So this is kind of how I at least look at them. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, MV Index Solutions, or MIVS, a subsidiary of New York-based investment management firm known as Van Eck, has launched a new Bitcoin index. Announced on Tuesday, the MVIS Bitcoin US OTC Spot Market Index, or MVBTCO, is said to be the first index that covers the performance of Bitcoin on selected over-the-counter platforms in the United States. The index represents the average spot price of Bitcoin and tracks performance based on 3 providers of OTC liquidity. They are Circle Trade, Cumberland, and Genesis Trading, the release dates. The index tracks just Bitcoin and does not consider forks, according to the MVIS website. They said, "We are excited to be the first provider to launch a Bitcoin index based on the pricing feed of over-the-counter trading desk. This enables clients who trade over the counter to use this index as a reliable benchmark for their trades of potential investment products," said Thomas Ketchner, managing director of the MIVS. With the new addition, the firm said it now has a total of 24 digital asset indices. Gabor Gerbach, director of digital asset strategies at Van Eck and MVIS, said, and I do quote, "The index may prove or pave the way for institutional-oriented products, such as ETFs, as well as provide further tools to institutional investors to execute institutional-sized trades and transparent prices on the OTC markets," end quote. Without reading any further, 2 things. I said it before. I think we're getting very close to it. Long gone, almost, are the days where normal crypto institutions and normal startup companies give us prices as to exactly what's happening in the cryptocurrency space. We now have a situation where Van Eck, one of the most well-known names in finance, is getting into the cryptocurrency space to the point where they are now listing an index for over-the-counter Bitcoin prices. Two or 3 years ago, You would have never heard Van Eck or any other Fidelity, anybody else even thinking of doing something like this. Over-the-counter Bitcoin buying has become incredibly important over the last couple of months. I'm still waiting on exact numbers. I hope that I want to look further into the actual index to see exactly if this gives us exactly what we need. And I was talking about before, I would like, for my own mental sake, to have a bit of, I wish we knew the exact numbers for the over-the-counter buyings, trades, whatever. It's usually people just buying at this point. At least I can assume it's that way. I think if we had, first of all, logically, if the entire KYC, know your customer, and AML, anti-money laundering laws apply to OTC, which I'm going to assume they do, there should be some type of numbers. I don't know if it's because it's over the counter that it's more private and these numbers are not held in, or rather given to a public space, because I have a really strong feeling if we had proper clarification as over the last, not even 11 months, 9 months, how many people have been buying cryptocurrencies over the counter, and we had proper numbers and we can add all those numbers up, we might be in for a bit of a shock of realizing that there's not as much cryptocurrencies floating around as we actually think that there are, especially because, I mean, realistically, like the news that we had earlier this year, once again, that guy in Dubai who traded or had somebody trading for him and they got 30,000 Bitcoin over a 3-month period, that is not a one-time thing. I'm pretty sure this is all speculation. Once again, this is just what's going on in my mind. The amount of cryptocurrencies that we think are floating around, that's not how many are actually floating around. It's very, okay, to sum it all up, very interesting that Van Eck is doing this. We have other places where people get their cryptocurrency prices. I don't think they are as used as CoinMarketCap, or even, I think the other one is called coinmarkets.net. And don't type that in, like Google it first. Don't actually like just type that into your browser. I think it's called CoinMarkets, like where people are getting their prices from. We're going to see a massive shift, in my opinion, in 2019 with major institutions who are going to make sure that you go to their websites in order to get your prices, to get your over-the-counter information, to get your news about what's happening in crypto. And this is just kind of, I don't know, kind of a very strong inkling. Like, the fact that Van Eck is now into digital currencies and they have an OTC tracker, it's I don't know. Let's move on. But you get exactly, at least hopefully, kind of what I'm hinting at. But this is very, very interesting as we go along. Last up, to briefly skim over this one. It's a bit about adoption, even though it's maybe not the kind of adoption that most people want to hear about. The United States state of Ohio is poised to become the first state to accept Bitcoin as tax payment, the Wall Street Journal reported on the 25th of November. As the Wall Street Journal writes, the move initially applies only to businesses, with plans to extend the offering to individual taxpayers in the future. Starting this week, Ohio-based businesses will be able to register to pay all of their taxes in the leading cryptocurrency. The payments are reportedly set to be processed via crypto payment service BitPay, who we were just talking about because they're incredibly popular. As the Wall Street Journal reports, the crypto-friendly move was initiated by State Treasurer Josh Mandel, who told reporters he is looking to plant a flag, okay, why not, for Ohio in terms of national cryptocurrency adoption. He said, "I do see Bitcoin as a legitimate form of currency," end quote. Mandel also told the publication that he is confident that this cryptocurrency initiative will continue after his term ends this January. As an elected state official, Mandel told journalists that he is able to decide that his office will accept the digital currency without approval from legislature or government, the Wall Street Journal reports. Long story short, this is kind of cool, I guess, if you kind of want to say that. My opinion is, and I'll say it this way in the nicest way, please do what you are legally required to do at the beginning of every year, your duty that you are obligated to do. I would recommend possibly not paying in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, simply because when things like this happen, it's like you have to look at the long-term perspective, and I mean as far as price. Imagine why a government or a state legislator or a state or anything like that, or parliament, would allow payments in cryptocurrencies that are going to go to them. they're not doing it because they think that the price of Bitcoin is going to go from where it is right now to $100 in the next couple of years. They are probably also in it because they see the long-term prospects of where the price is going to go, i.e., imagine paying your taxes and 10 years later, it's about a 1,000x from what you gave them. Might not feel too good. The point is, this is kind of cool. I'm expecting other states or other countries to start announcing this as well. You have to take a step back and think how weird it is that Bitcoin is 9.5 years old and all this stuff is happening. Like you can pay your taxes in it. You can pretty much buy, you can buy flats with it. You can buy cars. You can pretty much you can buy plane tickets. You can do everything with cryptocurrencies right now. It's really interesting how far we've come in such a short amount of time. Not to spend too much time on the topic of this, but take a step back and really think. Like, Bitcoin's not that old, and you may have to find specific websites and stuff like that to be able to use it, but you can do anything in the world now with Bitcoin. Even if nothing else, this moment in time has been a success for how far adoption has gone, and 2019 is going to be ridiculous. But on the to finish this entire discussion off, as you can tell, the cryptocurrency prices are up. Whether they are going to stay up, I cannot tell you. No one on this earth will be able to tell you this. I'm afraid of it being, what's the term, a dead cat bounce. I don't know. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. There hasn't been a huge amount of news to actually support this. I think prices were just kind of pushed down so much that people got into it and decided to, the prices are way too low. We have to start buying some of it. It's nice to wake up on a Monday and see an entire sea of green. It is very, very nice. Prices still haven't obviously recovered to where they were before. I'm going to keep a very strong lookout on the market simply because I have a strong inkling, especially with these with this dip down right here. I have a feeling we could go into red. That is just my personal opinion. I am not a financial expert. Don't throw your money into the market. Maybe not just yet. Anyway, I think that's definitely going to do it for this video. At least the market's in green. It's nice to look at. Hope you all are having a great day, a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all of your support more than you can possibly begin to imagine. Thank you once again. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.